We're here with UFC Pride MMA legend Dan the Beast Severn. Dan, I've been a big fan of yours since I can't even remember, since I was a kid. You know, I've always watched all your fights since UFC Return of the Beast. I mean, I'm just a huge fan. What have you been up to, my friend?
What haven't I been up to? Probably, Jason's a better question. I mean, I've retired as of just over a year ago. I retired back in January 2013, but rest assured, I'm not picking up my rocket chair anytime soon. I'm staying quite busy, involved with 4 different pro-level MMA companies as a consultant and a couple different amateur-level MMA companies, on top of having 2 different programs, one at Arizona State University, one at Olivet College, so I bounce back and forth between 2 states. You name it, I do it all.
Dan, you're one of the pioneers of mixed martial arts. You transitioned from being heavily wrestling based. I remember your fight with Royce Gracie, how you didn't want to strike with him because you didn't want to hurt him. You're a nice guy, but
a lot of people don't realize that I was a last minute fill-in for UFC number 4, and I had a lot of obligations. I went and fulfilled my obligations. I trained for 5 days, an hour and a half a day. Never trained in a single strike, never trained in a single submission, and I walked into the world of no holds barred fighting, and I did just fine.
You did a lot better than fine.
Find anyone else that can do that same thing and then keep the longevity. And on top of that, Jason, how does the moneymaker still look after having in excess of 100 fights right now? It's kind of like the ears still look like ears, the nose is still in the center of the face, teeth, although a little crooked, still originals. I need not say more.
Absolutely. Being a professional wrestler myself, you know as well as I do, it's a great core. We're made differently, but you're one of the pioneers that was able to also pro wrestle, but also leave your amateur wrestling as a core. What you see now is amateur wrestling is a huge base for fighters today. If you want, just elaborate for any children out there that want to still wrestle, because we know we had that problem where they were trying to get wrestling out of schools, how important it is.
I mean, wrestling, well, again, I'll be rather biased because I've been involved in the sport for so many years. Wrestling is probably one of the most economical sports you'll ever have. When you look at a football program on a high school level every year, that they're buying helmets, shoulder pads, the whole 9 yards, it's your investment into one wrestle mat, and that wrestle mat will last probably 20, 30 years. It's a very cheap investment, and the reality is when you look at what most children do, call it roughhousing or whatever, it's a form of grappling or wrestling that they're doing. So it's a natural instinct for them to do. I think it's one of the best sports, and it teaches you a lot of great character traits, because you don't get to pass the ball to anyone else. It's you mano a mano against somebody else. So it's a great character developer.
Thank you very much, sir. Where can we find you on the internet? Twitter, Facebook, anything?
It's all on there. Don't ask me what it's all under, but simply go to my website at dansevern.com. You'll find it all located at that point in time. I actually post things, but could I even tell you what my Twitter is or what my Facebook is? No.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thanks, Jason.